Sorrow may last for the night, joy comes in the morning. I walk by faith, even when I cannot see.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kim, but better known to you as Miss Wonderfully Made. That name comes from my place of business, and it wasn't even just a place of business, it's actually the name that that's what God said that I am. That's that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. That's Psalm 139 and 14. So that's how I formed the name of my business, which is a pop-up shop boutique. I'm a fashion stylist, makeup artist. Those are the things that I came up in, licensed cosmetologist, all of that. So today I'm actually here to talk about my story, my journey, my testimony. I'm also the host of Kingdom Conversations Reloaded. So that's something that I've been working on for the past year. I've done a couple of testimonies on there before, and it's like I'll take a long time off, then I'll get back to it. But what I really want to get to, in hopes of it encouraging and uplifting and empowering someone else, also to let you know never to give up regardless of what you go through. So let me rewind. I've been off the scene now probably for about a year and some change. Like I said, I was doing my fashion thing. I was into it. I was hustling hard. I was getting it. I mean, really, really getting it that one way. Until God told me I had to sit down. And I was not happy with that because I love doing this business so much. Like, that is what gave me joy. That is what, I mean, helping people, encouraging them. It wasn't just about selling clothes. It was the fact that I got to make people feel so much better inside and out. Like, I was able to pour into them spiritually, giving them what God was telling me to give them. People would just come off the street, come into my store. They would find me at my events, and we would just talk. It would almost never, ever, ever just be about the clothes. So that's why I said it wasn't just about selling the clothes. It was about the relationships. It was about the connections. It was about all of that. But like I said, eventually, God told me I'm going to have to put that down for a while. And when I tell you, I kicked and screamed and shouted and hollered, and I'm like, I do not want to do it. And I really didn't do it. He forced me to do it. And when I say forced me, I ain't gonna say forced. I ended up getting pretty sick. And just to let you know, anything and everything I talk about is always spiritual. I believe that life is spiritual. Everything happens in the spiritual realm before it happens in the natural. So there were already things that I was going through, breaking those generational curses, those ancestral curses, doing stuff to set my bloodline free. But at the same time, I believe that my boutique was becoming an idol to me as well. I'll talk about that another time, but we can make things an idol, and we are not to put anything before God. But back to me having some health issues. So I would say around July of 2023, I learned that I had fibroids. And those fibroids, many, many women have them. It can really take a toll on your life. And that's what it did to me. I was anemic. I mean, I was like hemorrhaging like crazy. I mean, it was to the point I was losing so much blood that I couldn't do anything. I was probably on my way up out of here. So I found this out in July, August, September, November. It just started getting worse and worse and worse. So the first thing that the doctors want to do which I don't recommend do if you don't have to, is to have a hysterectomy. I did not want to do that because, for one, I didn't feel like that's what God was calling me to do. And two, even though I'm older or whatnot, at that point in time, I was 41, 42, something like that. I was not married yet, and I still thought of the possibility of maybe wanting to have kids. But like I say, that's something that the doctors always, certain doctors, not all, they always push hysterectomy on you. And I know hysterectomy isn't always the right way to go because a lot of people have issues after that. So there was a procedure that I decided to have called a UFE, which is a uterine fibroid embolization. So that's basically where they go in through your artery. They can go in through the groin or they can go in through your artery right to the fibroid, and they shoot off these beads that like block the blood supply to the fibroid. And over time, the fibroid just shrinks out and dies. That is not even really a surgery. Like, they don't even really put you to sleep to do it. They twilight you. So I decided to have that done in March of 2024. So in my eyes, I'm like, yes, all of this is done and over with. I can get back to life. No, I did not get back to life. Life really started lifing, especially after that procedure. It got a lot worse. I had so much more pain afterwards. And I'm not saying that it didn't work, because at this point now, I'm believing that it did work. I'm still having some complications. But I feel like it was still a better option than to have hysterectomy. But anyway, after I had that procedure, I would have months of just like, this was a different type of pain. The pain felt like contractions, like to the 100th power, if that even makes sense. It was worse than what I was having before. It was so much worse. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But so that was April. April was probably one of the calmest months that I had. So May came around, that certain type of pain, it came back again. So I ended up going to the emergency room. They ended up giving me like tramadol or something like that to treat me. And that took the pain away. That kind of killed it, knocked it out. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I was better again. I was good again. And I know that they say with that type of procedure, it can take, I don't know if it's like 3 to 6 months for it to actually work. So that's what I was thinking, like, okay, it's just going to take time for it to work. Now we come June, toward the end of June. That pain has come back again, and it's worse. So I ended up going to the hospital that day. I'm like, just give me what you gave me before, knock this out. And they did that. I was feeling better for a hot second. Went back home. Not even 2 hours later, I was in pain again. Now I got a fever, like 103 fever. And I'm like, okay, something is wrong. So my mom ended up taking me back to the same hospital in the same day, which was a couple hours later. Get to the doctor, and they do a full examination. Come to find out. And I'm a very transparent person, and I know a lot of women can relate, so I don't hold back on anything. So I'm just going to tell you, it was pelvic inflammatory disease. And just to let you know, that does not have to come from STDs, because that's what I thought. Like, that is what I thought. I'm like, I ain't even having sex with nobody. So basically, they told me that's what I had. At the hospital that I was at, they ended up transporting me to another hospital to treat me. I was in the hospital for almost a week. One of the worst weeks of my life. Between that pain, the doctors fighting about whether it was a kidney stone or if it was because of the UFE, like they didn't even know what was going on. It was just so much. All I know is I was in pain. I mean, to the point where I couldn't really pick up the phone to call people. I couldn't talk to nobody. My blood pressure was acting up. It was just bad. So ended up treating me or whatnot. I think towards the end of the week when I was getting ready to get out of the hospital, I ended up talking to one of my, I call them my spiritual parents, which is Mama J. Her name is Jacqueline King. She's one of the people who took me through deliverance many a times. And when I let her know that I was in the hospital, she confirmed what was really going on spiritually. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't believe in what I'm getting ready to say, but she basically let me know, okay, this is spiritual. This is connected to spirit spouses and marine kingdom stuff. I'm like, okay, I know. So what do I do? As soon as I get better, I go and I get deliverance. That's what I went through. Went through the deliverance. I can't say everything just totally turned around. It still took some time. When you're doing things for the Lord and you're on the right track and you're on the right path, the enemy, you are a target. You've become a target. So just realize that and remember that. I was doing the praying. I was doing the fasting. Everything that I can involve my life in, that's what I was doing. And it was all surrounded around God. So did that deliverance. In between all of this, I ended up having a shoulder injury, torn rotator cuff tear. I can't tell you how that happened. All I know is I was asleep one day and I turned and I felt something pop in my shoulder. That's how that happened. So moving along, in between all that other health stuff, and I was going to physical therapy also for my shoulder. I ended up getting an injection in my arm for that, and I was good for 4 months. So now I'm in this season of rest because I still want to get out and do my business and all of that. But God was telling me to donate all my clothes, like take them to this shelter or whatnot. I did. I ended up taking them to a shelter that's near my house. And what's so crazy is the same shelter that I donated the clothes to, not knowing I was going to end up in that shelter. So it was a domestic violence / homeless shelter. I'm not going to get into details about what happened, but basically, long story short, I was there for about 3 to 4 months. Shoulder pain did end up going away, but I'm still homeless at the same time. That's hard to say, but I went through it. But still, God, He never left me nor forsook me. I was thinking He was having me deliver or donate my clothes to help these ladies. Like, you're going to be here helping these ladies. It's going to look like this. That's what I thought. I didn't know I was actually going to be in the trenches with them. So that right there shocked me. But at the same time, I could see what God was doing. I feel like I was at the bottom in the worst part of my life. But at the same time, like, God needs you to be empty. And that's what I felt like He was doing. He was emptying me out of everything, emptying me from everything and causing me to totally trust and believe in Him. So going back to the shelter, I was there for about 3 or 4 months, ended up finding a place or whatnot. In between me finding a place, I was actually getting ready to move back in. My shoulder pain ended up coming back. So now this is in November. And now I have to have surgery and trying to move into this house. The house is not ready. The house kept having issues. Now I'm back to not having nowhere to go again, especially getting ready to have surgery. So I'm homeless again. I'm jumping from house to house to house. It's hard when you're very independent and to have people, you have to lean on people. Basically, they have to help you or whatnot. And when you don't know how to receive help, it's hard to do. And then it's hard not having your dominant hand neither. You can't do anything. So went through that. Still kind of going through that. I am now settled in my home now. So I praise God. I thank God for that. But through all of that, I've learned so much and I've grown so much. And I just want my story to encourage you that to whatever you go through, like, you got to always trust and believe that God is your be all and your everything. And we have to lean on Him and not in our own understanding. He wants us to lean on Him and trust in Him. Even when it was out of my hands, it was nothing I could do. Even when I had no money, I'm like, Lord, like, how am I going to pay for this? How I'm gonna do this? And I was trying my best. I was doing my best. And everything just happened to just fall through the cracks. So where I am today, I would say the calling on my life, I've really learned the calling on my life, and it's so much greater than what I thought it was. I downplayed it. When God, what is it's a scripture in the Bible, and it's I can't think of it right now, but to whom much is given, much is required. And that's not always a pretty picture. Like, that's just what it is. It's not always a pretty picture. Yes, we do say God is love, and He is love. He loves us so much. But we're going to have our times of testing too. And it's not for us to give up during those times of testing. Like, we have to keep pushing. We have to keep praying. We have to keep fasting. We really have to press. And I was starting to lean on, like, God, I'm in pain. Like, I can't do it. Why you want me to do this? Like, I don't feel well. They got me on drugs and everything, and I don't feel like I'm thinking straight. But at the same time, the enemy, he attacking me. So I'm feeling attacked everywhere, every which way you could turn around and look. But still, God has shown me that I'm greater than that, and He's allowing it for a reason. So once I understood that, recognized that, and realized that, that just helped me to push in harder. So my word to you is, if you're experiencing something like that or anything like that, keep going. Lean into God even more, because there is greater on the other side. Trust me. Get in His word, study, fast. Surround yourself with a group of people, like-minded individuals, because you can't listen to what the world telling you. Like, that's not gonna work. That's gonna mess you up even more. And learn how to take accountability and responsibility for your own actions. That's the biggest thing that I could say. So that's pretty much my story, my testimony of where I've been this last year and why I've been off the scene. But like I said, I hope it encourages someone to keep going, never give up. Love God first, love others, and there it is.